Good evening and welcome to Tarot Thursday. I'm your host, Reverend Mary Hawk, and with me is Reverend Don Lewis.
Hello, hello.
And as usual, we will do 3-card, more or less, readings when you post a question in chat on whatever channel you are watching on. So, welcome. If you got a question, post it or just say hi.
And remember that you cannot post questions on our personal pages, although you can see the videos there, but those will not show up in the chat room. You have to do that on the various groups and so forth.
Yes. And hello to Lena and Swamp Fan and Janet.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you all. And Lena has asked for a general reading for the next 3 weeks, and Swamp Fan has asked for a general reading. And hello to Jossa Quaid, who's asked for milestones and who's coming into their love life. All right. Hope everyone in the U.S. is staying cool. It has been horribly hot. I was posting on Threads about living in Satan's asshole.
I believe it's worse than yours.
We had a heat index of 112 here today. I live just north of Nashville. And my dog insists on basking in the sun, and she will not bask alone. I tried to let her out by herself, and she came back to the door to look for me.
No one wants to bask alone. Okay, so I've drawn 3 cards. The first one is the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords says that whatever Lena is worried about is there. I mean, it's a real thing, and it needs to be dealt with. However, it will be easier to deal with than you think it is. It's called the ghastly nightmare because, like a nightmare, it can't really hurt you unless you end up falling out of bed trying to get away from it. So whatever it is, don't try to get away from it. Face it head on. You'll find it easier to deal with than you think. But whatever it is you're worried about dealing with will be there. With that, we have magic. Magic is one of the extra cards in the Tarot of Hecate. That means pretty much exactly what it says. On one hand, it says use your magic in this situation. On the other hand, it's saying things may come together in a magical way, even if you don't. But it still advises that you do. And with that, we have Temperance. And Temperance says that in this 3-week period, you're creating new things out of old things. So there are a lot of changes and new beginnings coming, but they're not totally new. They're building on what's already there. So expect growth in that way. And let's draw the Brian card, because what's life without a Brian card? We've drawn the Nine of Wands, which says be patient. Give the situation the time it needs to develop. If it takes a little longer than you really want it to, it's okay. You have the time, it will take its shape. Be patient, play the long game. And there you go.
Okay, I have got the Five of Pentacles to start with. And this says, be careful with your resources in the material realm. So budget carefully. You may find, if not exactly a lack, things could be tight. I have got the moon. And you can see people doing a ritual around a fire among triptychs that look like Stonehenge. So this is about magic. using your magic in your situation. And I have got the body. This is one of the extra major arcana cards in the Tarot of Hecate. And here you can see the ensouled Gaia, the planet as a living being. And this is talking about how everything is connected. So as you're moving forward in the next 3 weeks, think about what you're doing and look for connections that don't appear on the surface. You're going to find connections in unexpected places. And I'm going to pull the Brian card, and I've got the stars. So here we see someone who is preparing to meditate or do maybe some sort of astral work. So this is also about employing magic or meditation as you move forward. So I hope that's helpful, Lena. And speaking of Reverend Brian, we want to wish him a very happy birthday.
Yes, indeed. Happy birthday, Brian.
It was actually yesterday, but a very happy, magical birthday to you.
Happy birthday season. How's that?
Yes. And my neighbors are celebrating a little early with lots and lots of fireworks.
Okay.
It's legal for about a week here. And they're probably going to celebrate all night. And I'm glad I'm off tomorrow because I don't know how much sleep we're going to get.
So who's next?
Next is Swat Fan, and he has asked for a general reading for the upcoming month. And hello to Lucas. It's good to see you.
Yes, indeed. So the first card that I have drawn is the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords says that Swakfan may find themselves working with another person, possibly an organization, but most likely a person. Not in necessarily a romantic type of relationship sense, but an alliance, maybe a business partnership. Even if it is a romantic partner, that will not be the nature of the work. So another person will be very important in what's going on during this time period. We then have the Queen of Coins. Queen of Coins is money and prosperity. So it's going to be a time with a lot of focus on finances and also a lot of good results with finances. And finally, we have the Empress, which is prosperity, happiness, satisfaction, all kinds of good things. So what I would say is that generally speaking, I would look for this month to be very good, particularly in terms of material things, and that a relationship will be central to everything going on. Let's draw the Brian card. And I've drawn the Two of Cups, which says, well, maybe it is a romantic relationship. But the Two of Cups, again, says relationship. Another person is very important here. With the Two of Cups, it's more often a romantic relationship. Doesn't mean it has to be. But either way, a relationship is central to everything that's happening. And there you go.
Okay, so the first card I've got is the Five of Pentacles. Now that's where you're starting right now, so that suggests some possible financial issues, which doesn't mean things aren't going to improve later in the month. I've got the Four of Swords, which suggests it's okay to take a rest. I've got the Queen of Swords. Yes, it's me. When Reverend Don did the Kickstarter for this particular edition of the Tarot of Hecate, one of the options was to commission a card. And I asked him to draw me as the Queen of Swords because this card has been representing me in readings for over 20 years now.
Yes.
So, my daughter would fuss about, your card came up in my reading again. Mom, I'm supposed to listen. Anyway, the Queen of Swords, of course, swords are about communication, and the Queen of Swords advises about to look at what worked before and what didn't work in similar situations in the past. And I'll draw the Brian card. We've got the Six of Cups, which suggests that someone from your past might be reaching out to you. Now, what you do with that is up to you. So, I hope that's helpful.
Yes, indeed. And who's next?
Jessiquade is next. Jessiquade has said, milestones I have made over the years for myself, and also who's coming new into my love life.
I'm not entirely sure how to interpret the first part of that. Well, I don't necessarily need to know, though. We can simply ask it and see what they say.
All right. Yeah, let's just do the reading.
I love the fact you can actually see me shuffling the cards on the camera at this point, because some earlier cameras did not show that. And I would sit here shuffling and say, I am shuffling.
I am shuffling. And I've had an escapee, and I'm going to do my very best not to knock my background over.
Well, that's good.
Oh, it's 2 escapees. All right.
Well, we need one more. Now, one of the things that I've learned over the years as a psychic is I don't necessarily need to understand the question. So the first card I've drawn is Strength. So in terms of these milestones and also potential people coming in, first and most important thing is strength. And the way I'd normally understand this is saying that they have all the strength they need to deal with their situations. If they perhaps occasionally feel overwhelmed or challenged, they need to have confidence in themselves that they can deal with all of it. It's followed by the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is learning from experience. So in dealing with this issue, including new people as well as milestones, past experience and the lessons that it brings are vitally important. What that means is look at similar situations in the past and how they played out. And, if you were successful in the past, do the same thing. If you were not, don't do the same thing. Now, you may say that's just common sense, but it's not always true. Sometimes you need to take a very different approach from what you've done before. But in this case, you can judge by your past situations and apply that knowledge. Final card, the Princess of Wands. And the Princess of Wands, I'm going to assume this is about people coming into their life. Princess of Wands is being almost ready, but not quite. So be patient. Let it take the time that it needs. You're almost there. You've pretty much got all the stuff you need to accommodate it. It's just not quite time. So be patient. Let it take a little bit more time. And the Brian card, because we have to have a Brian card. Brian card is the King of Lamps. King of Lamps is meditation. It's saying that in dealing with these situations, again, pay attention to your past, trust your strength, but also, pay attention to your inner self and your spiritual guidance. Meditation would be very helpful here. Self-knowledge is very helpful here. And with all of that said, it looks good, but not quite time for everything to come to fruition.
Okay. My first card is the Ace of Pentacles. I have shuffled. Y'all saw me shuffle. So once more, be careful in the material realm. I have the past. And here we see an older woman looking at her younger reflection. And this card is about letting go of what no longer serves you. And this could be things that have served you well in the past, but you've outgrown them. And it's time to let go. And one of my escapees is the Ace of Swords. So you've got a decision coming up. You're going to have to make that decision quickly. Just do it. Don't waffle around. Make your decision. My other escapee is the Hierophant. So this is about putting time into your spiritual practice, whatever that is. And my final card is the King of Cups. And this is about emotional happiness. It can be love coming into your life. So I think that is positive for you. So I hope that's helpful.
Yes.
I'm really not sure what Reverend Don's doing over there.
I had an escapee. I had to retrieve it.
But it looked interesting, didn't it? Anyway, I hope that helped you, Jessica Quaid.
Yes.
Let's see. What have we got in the chat room? Blessed be to Heather, Samara Yates. Let's see. SWAT fan says 82 and fantastic in Minnesota.
Okay.
I don't even want to hear it. Janet says the heat index here was 103. Yeah. Heather says, I am not alone because I are in my heart. Jessica Quaid says, happy 4th of July. It's been 99 degrees in Denver. That is hot for Denver, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it is.
And Heather says she's reaching out from Conway, Arkansas. Oh my goodness, I know a bit of trivia about Conway. When Conway Twitty was looking for his stage name, he looked at a map and he picked out 2 cities, Conway and Twitty.
I don't know which is the more remarkable, the story or the fact that there's a city named Twitty.
Yeah, I
Of
can't
course, I know there's a county
remember.
called Monkey's Eyebrow, so what are you going to say?
Yeah, well, when I let Google take me through the back ways after dropping you off in Danville, we went through Pink Staff, Illinois.
Nothing suggestive about that name.
And I will not comment on my husband's running commentary about Pink Staff. I'll just say it's really a shame you weren't along for that part of the ride.
Yes. And Jason Lucas says, Mr. Don, I am a big U fan. Thank you, Jason.
Goody Bell says, hey, Mary and Don, hope you are both well. Heather says, I'm supposed to move. That's what I see. Good luck with that. You're welcome, Lena. Goody Bell says, I wanted to let you both know I got a positive pregnancy test since the last reading, and I'm in the process of making a prenatal care plan.
Congratulations.
That is wonderful news. I'm so glad to hear that. And Heather says, happy magical birthday, Brian. And Heather says, have you ever spoke with the Sister Silver Ravenwolf?
The author, Silver Ravenwolf, I used to know her many years ago.
I was going to say,
she illustrated for my magazine. I illustrated for her. We were both in the Wiccan Pagan Press Alliance.
I never had the honor of meeting her, although I have read several of her books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Goody Bell wanted to ask for cards for clues about who was watching over me. I think it's a male and a female. I was hoping you could do a reading on that.
Okay.
We can do that. I'm beginning to wish I had all the cash my neighbors have spent on fireworks. I might be able to make a serious dent in my house note.
Yeah.
Pay off my husband's car? I don't know.
So the first card that I have drawn, I don't know if these are exactly going to answer that question, but we'll see what we can do. First card is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is feeling trapped or held back by your situation. So I would say that in terms of who is watching over you, you may feel held back by not being able to have better communication with them. My comment on that is that, of course, you can have better communication with them. You just have to keep working at it. With it, we have the Seven of Wands, which basically says exactly that. Victory after hard work. So continue to work with them. Try to set a time apart each day to talk to them. This is not really speaking to who they are, but what you can do to find out more. So make time for them. The Five of Lamps, which is pursuing spiritual knowledge. It says, keep working with them. They will reveal to you who they are. and I do agree. I have I do feel both a man and a woman, and the woman feels very maternal, very imposing. The man less imposing, as men often are. But yeah, continue to work with them, talk to them, set aside time to let them talk to you. If you don't know how to do that, it's in my first degree book. All the instructions you could ask for, and you can find that at corellianpublishing.com or as a class at witchschool.com, and probably as a video on Magic TV. In fact, I know it's there as a video on Magic TV. But basically, it comes down to consistency and learning how to open your mind without preconception. And you'll find that they'll tell you everything you need to know if you can do that. And Brian card. We must have a Brian card. I almost didn't do a Brian card. Two of Cups. So yes, two spirits, and happiness, good things. So there you go.
I don't have a direct answer either. I've got the Four of Cups, which suggests the standard book meaning is you're in a situation that's okay, but not exactly what you want it to be. I have the Veil, which is you're looking for something you haven't found yet. And I've got the Eight of Pentacles, which is usually interpreted as being rewarded for the work you do. So putting them all together, I'm going to say you can communicate with them. And I'll pull a Brian card. And I got the Mages. Do magic. So, yes, set aside a time every day and work on communicating with them. And trust your intuition. If you think you got a message, you got a message.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. All right, let's see. Goody Bell says happy birthday to Reverend Brian. Nanda says good night, everyone. SWAT fan said thank you.
You're very welcome.
Goody Bell says my last reading from you both about 5 to 6 weeks ago basically said I'd be pregnant within 3 months, and Mary said I had decisions to make. Both were right on target.
Yep.
And Jessica says, like, changing myself and keep with the change, but don't do it if it's the same repeated thing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Lucas says, Salve from Brazil.
Glad to have you with us.
Yes. All right. And love all, Mr. Mary. Same to you. Hippie Janet says it was 98 in North Danville today. Yep. Goody Bill says, I have your book. I'll find it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's definitely right in there.
Hippie Janet says the entire first degree is on YouTube. I followed along with my book. Yes, it's on YouTube on Magic TV. That's Magic with a K. MAGICK TV on YouTube. All right. We are all caught up down to Lucas, who has asked for a general reading.
Okay. Take a sip from my coffee tureen.
9:30 at night and he's drinking coffee. He's not going to bed early either. Coffee, the sacrament of the Correllian tradition.
Yep. So I have drawn 3 cards for Lucas. The first one is the High Priestess. High Priestess is listening to your spiritual guidance, connecting with your higher self. And, generally speaking, being spiritually driven, spiritually guided, spiritually informed. It's followed by the Emperor. And the Emperor says, yeah, don't sweat it too much. The Emperor represents the fact that cycles go up, cycles come down, everything changes. Don't worry about changes in plan. Be patient with them. You'll end up where you want to go. But obviously there may be some changes in cycle ahead. And the Queen of Lamps is magic, which says, well, yeah, all of that, but also use your magic to make what you want. But also, be patient with changes. Let them happen. And let's draw a Brian card, because everyone needs a Brian card. We've drawn the 3 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands is victory and celebration. It says that what you want here, you will end up getting. So continue to pursue it, use your magic and your self-knowledge to pursue it, and be patient and realize that everything that goes up comes down, everything that goes down comes up, and be patient with it. It's coming. And there you go.
So I've got the 2 of Lamps, which is seeking spiritual guidance, spiritual knowledge. I have Death, which is death and rebirth, transformation. And I have the 10 of Swords, which really goes along with death in this case. It's coming to the end of a cycle. So you're looking at a really big change, and it's definitely going to shake your life up. And I've got pull a Brian card, and I get the 9 of Wands. So you're feeling stuck. Something's not moving fast enough for you, but don't worry. Once the changes start happening, they're probably going to move faster than you want them to.
Don't they always?
They always do.
Often.
And before we move on to the next readings, chat just got so funny. Goody Bell says, LOL, Reverend Don, are you ADHD? Because I can drink coffee and go right to bed. Also, ha ha ha, then I'm an honorary Corellian. Hippie Janet says it's too hot to drink coffee during the day. I've been putting mine in the refrigerator the day before. I drink it in the morning.
And I'm not diagnosed with ADHD or autism, but I've always had the thing about being able to drink the coffee. In recent years, not as much as when I was younger, but still something I can do to some extent and still be able to sleep. I definitely am somewhere in all of that, but I was born before people were really thinking in those terms. And you don't go check on that when you're 50.
You can talk about two different things at once, though.
Yes, I can. You can talk about three different things at once if you really want to. When I was young, when I still did things like watching television, I could be watching the movie, reading a book, and drawing pictures all pretty much simultaneously. And having the experience of all of them. So I don't know exactly where that puts me, but it puts me somewhere.
You are welcome, Lucas.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and Victoria Jade wants to know where we're from.
We are from planet Earth. And we are happy to be coming to wherever you happen to be.
Okay, I am from just north of Nashville in Gallatin, Tennessee.
And I am from Danville, Illinois, just south of Chicago.
Okay, now
Homeland of Dick Van Dyke.
He's painted on a wall in Danville.
Yes.
Okay, now Victoria has asked for a general reading, then Janet Winston.
And Victoria wants us to know that she too is on Earth. So it's a small world.
Wow.
Well, you never know with our audience. We might have people tuning in from farther away.
Pennsylvania.
Ah. And Goody Bale says, I'm not diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I am. And that's pretty much where I'm at, too. The more I learn about it, the more I see myself. So who's next?
General for Victoria is where we are. I'm starting to suspect I might be autistic.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the people I follow on Instagram is Torin Wolf, and also Mother Wolf, which is an autistic mother and child, and they talk a lot about what it means. And although I'm certainly not comparable to his situation, I do see bits of myself there. I see more of myself in her. But I suspect we're somewhere.
When I was a child, I really had a hard time relating to other people.
Mm-hmm. I can remember having to learn how to socialize.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Part of that was cultural, but part of it, I think, was more than cultural. For example, I had to learn how to look at people's eyes because in my particular background, you're taught not to do that. It's very rude. You never look at a person's eyes unless you're in a very close relationship with them. That's considered issuing a challenge. You would never do it. In my teenage years, I found out that, most people think you're shifty if you're not looking at their eyes. But it was a different culture than exactly what I came from. Speaking with your hands was another one. Where I come from, you do not speak with your hands. But I learned how to do it, and now I do it all the time. And, it's things like that when you come from a mixed cultural, mixed racial background. Nobody says things like that. Nobody ever said to me, you should look at the center of the chest. It was simply how I was raised. I mean, maybe somebody did early on, but it's not in my head.
Right.
That was something I had to learn to do differently. When I first tried looking at people in the eye, boy, were they intimidated. It took practice.
Well, and then there's the fact that you're so darn tall.
There is that.
Okay. Victoria, the first card I've got for you is the body. And here we see Gaia as the ensouled planet. So the idea behind the card is that everything is interconnected. So look for connections you don't see on the surface. And just be aware that things are going to be connected in ways you don't see. Now, in the near future, you may find it hard to achieve your goals, but they are achievable. So keep working at it. That's what the Seven of Swords means. But then I've got the Ten of Cups, the happy family card. So you're going to get where you want to go. It's just going to take some work to get there. So overall, it's a very positive reading. So I hope that helps.
And I have the King of Cups, which is happiness. So we're off to a very positive start. And it's followed by the Five of Swords, or the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is conflict. I'm going to draw a card to go with that, because of course I am. And I've drawn the Princess of Lamps. So I want to say that in dealing with your situations, you have some internal conflict. And we have the Princess of Lamps. To deal with that, use your metaphysical techniques to look into any crossed wires you've got going on. And then the third card is the Queen of Cups, which is also happiness. And all of it says it's a very good situation, yet you may find you have some hesitation that you can't entirely explain. So you need to do a little shadow work with that. And let's draw a Brian card. Now, this may speak exactly to that shadow work because we've drawn the Prince of Swords. The Prince of Swords is healthy selfishness. When I first started reading tarot, I read this card the way most people read it, which is a person behaving selfishly and badly. Oh, so terrible. And then I noticed that's not what it was telling me at all. When this comes up, it means the person is very often giving away the farm. They need to become a little more selfish, a little bit more self-preservational. So make sure you're getting what you need to be getting, and your mixed feelings, your inner conflict probably has to do exactly with that issue. So see that your needs are being met. Beyond that, everything looks very positive. And there you go.
Okay. And now Janet W. has asked for a reading for the end of the year. I had to learn how to discuss the weather with people in a conversational way because it didn't make sense to me.
Still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What do you mean it's hot? It's July. Of course it's hot. We knew
But
that.
I can do it now.
I can too. I don't mind discussing the weather. I do sometimes get impatient with incessantly complaining about the weather. Because what are you going to do? In the immortal words of T'Pau, the air is the air. What can be done? Little nerd reference there.
Yes. Okay, so the first card I've got for you, Janet, is the Six of Swords with the famous horse giving side eye.
Now, the horse has his own opinion.
Yes, the horse has his own opinion. Possibly it's a very hot day. Anyway, this means you are going to take a journey. It could be a physical journey. It could be more of a spiritual journey, but there is a journey for you by the end of the year. We also have the Two of Lamps, and this is talking about seeking spiritual guidance. I'm drawing a Brian card because it darn near flipped itself over. So here we have the Queen of Lamps. The Queen of Lamps is magic. It's also talking about working within the resources you already have. So you're going to have what you need to deal with the situations that come up. And we've got the Hermit. And this card means you will know how to handle situations as they come up. So don't let other people talk you out of what your gut tells you you need to do.
Excuse me. I have drawn the Empress. And the Empress is happiness and satisfaction and good fortune and prosperity and generally being in a good situation all the way around. With it, we have the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands says, well, yes, but everything's happening really fast. So be prepared for that. And yet, we also have the Prince of Coins. So things are happening very fast. They're coming quickly, and yet the actual growth is slow. So be prepared to be patient. Be prepared to deal with the appearance of things happening quickly, but also know you're going to be happy with the general outcome of the situation. And let us draw the infamous Brian card. I've drawn Strength, and Strength says, yeah, it may be annoying here and there, but you're more than able to deal with it. You have all the strength you need. You have everything you need to deal with it. And be patient for the real growth. And again, everything else looks great. So as we're sitting here discussing the spectrum, and I happen to start quoting T'Pau, I just barely stopped myself from talking about what an interesting performer Celia Lofsky was. So yeah, I'm on that spectrum somewhere.
You are. And we've got a couple other requests here, but we ought to pause for a word from our sponsors.
Sponsors, sponsors, sponsors.
Because we love our sponsors.
We do, especially these days.
Yeah.
Rev Don's Book of Stones, Metals, and Crystals. Everything you always wanted to know about the magical and spiritual properties of stones, metals, and crystals in one book. Get your copy today at CorellianPublishing.com.
Rev Don's Book of Astrology. Everything you always wanted to know about the stars in one book. Get your copy today at CorellianPublishing.com.
And we're back.
And the end of that URL is CorellianPublishing.com.
Yes.
I don't know why it keeps cutting it short. And hello to Vivian. And Vivian says, Reverend Don, did you go to the 2026 Pagan Festival in St. Louis? Actually, I did not go this year. I am hoping to maybe go next year. I used to go every year for decades. But this last few years, since I've been dealing with all the things that I've been dealing with during this time, I have not been back. And I would like to go again. I always enjoyed the St. Louis Pagan Picnic. I consider it one of the better events in the country.
I have never been. I must go.
You should come. It has a very similar feel to Nashville Pagan Pride. And Pagan Pride in general. It's a very similar kind of event.
By the way, Nashville Pagan Pride Day is Saturday, October the 3rd, if you're looking for a festival.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Okay, next up is Hippie Janet, who would like a general reading for the week. And we do this as a service, but if you'd like to send us a tip, my PayPal is maryhawk1968@gmail.com.
And Hippie Janet would like us to know that she was at the St. Louis Pagan Picnic this year, and I hope that she had a wonderful time. I believe I recall her saying that she did.
And Sean says, I wish I had Reverend Don's hair. Mine's leaving me.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't think I have to worry about. I lucked out hair-wise.
You did. Hippie Janet also says Torin is awesome.
Yes, he is. I quite enjoy his fashion sense. It reminds me of my own. He has some of the loudest disco-style shirts you'd ever want to see. As well as more sedate wear.
You know, it's a shame that the tie-dye suit that, oh goodness, what is his name, was going to get you never materialized.
Yeah. I certainly could do it.
We have a tie-dye kit. All we'd really need is a white suit.
Of course, then I'd also need a tie-dyed shirt and tie. Although, it wouldn't all have to be tie-dyed.
So the first card I've got for you is the Princess of Lamps. So you definitely are going to have to use your magic in the upcoming week. Then I've got the Two of Pentacles. This is about learning new skills. And I've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is about being in a very good position. So it's a very positive reading, Janet.
Mm-hmm. I have drawn 3 cards, which are also a very positive reading. First one is the Queen of Coins. Queen of Coins is money and prosperity and material good things. So very good to get. Second is the Sun. The Sun is success. Sun is getting what you've worked for, what you want. And then finally, we have the Seven of Lamps, which is self-purification. So you want to make sure during this period, while everything is going well, you use this time to cleanse yourself. Get rid of anything that's holding you down or holding you back, and cleanse your energy. And let's draw the Brian card. Because even if he's not here, he's still here. And I've drawn the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups says you're in a great situation. It may not be everything you want it to be, but it's a great situation. And to make it what you want it to be, again, self-purification, cleansing, working on your shadow work. And there you go.
All right. We have got questions from Michael and Surrendar. And those are going to be our last two questions for the evening.
Okay. So this is general for Michael?
Yes, general for Michael.
Well, we've had interesting conversation this evening.
We have. Oh, and it took me quite a while to learn that you don't take everything everyone says totally literally.
That was always one of my problems. I would miss subtle social cues, and I didn't realize that what people said was not literally what they meant. Because what I said was literally what I meant. So it didn't occur to me that wasn't normal.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't occur to me if someone said, well, we're going here and there, that they probably actually meant to include me in that statement. Okay, Michael, the first card I've got for you is the Nine of Swords, or the Ghastly Nightmare card. So, whatever you're afraid of, it's not as bad as you think it is. You need to face it, but it's truly not as bad as you think it is. I have the Seven of Wands, which means you're in a situation that requires careful planning for you to be successful. You can reach your goals, but you need to plan carefully. And I've got the Prince of Pentacles. So, plan carefully and assume that your growth will be slow. Steady, but slow. And when I draw a Brian card, I get the Queen of Swords. Yes, it's me. And the Queen of Swords is talking about careful communication and looking at your situation based on what worked in the past and what didn't work in the past. So I hope that helps.
And the cards I have drawn are the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords says that you have a decision coming that you must make, probably a very important decision. And in making that decision, we have the King of Lamps. King of Lamps says that you must pay attention to your higher self and your inner guidance, and trust your gut and let that guide you in making that decision. And then we have the Ten of Wands, which says, yeah, it's almost time to move forward, not quite. Be patient for the time to come. It's nearly there. And that will bring a lot of change when it comes. And for the Brian card, the Hangman. And the Hangman kind of says the same thing I just said. The Hangman is patience to go through the process. You see on the card, we have Odin hanging from the Tree of Life. And he hung there for 9 days watching the runes. And that's saying, you know, sometimes you have to be patient and give it the time it needs. And this is one of those times. So Yeah, you're almost there. Not quite. Be patient. And there you go.
Okay, and hello to Lily. We are actually wrapping up for the evening, so we can't get to you, but check with us next week on Thursday. All right, Surendar is asking for guidance for their love life. All right. Well, the first card I've got is the Queen of Lamps, which is magic and working within what you already know. So I think you know your love interest, even if you don't realize it yet. I have the Three of Cups, which is happiness and celebration. And I have the Two of Cups, which is a new relationship. It's not always a romantic relationship, but since you're asking about your love life, I'm going to say yes, there is a new relationship on the horizon. Probably someone you already know. So just be open to possibilities.
So the three cards I have drawn start with the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is happiness, can be romantic love. In a question like this, I would say, yes, there are things coming. With it is the Emperor. The Emperor says, there are always cycles. So bear that in mind, but I'm inclined to say the cycle is turning in your favor at present. And then the Queen of Lamps, and the Queen of Lamps is magic. And it says, use your spiritual abilities to draw what you desire and to refine your situation. And let us draw a Brian card. And I've drawn the Five of Cups. And I'm going to wonder if that might mean that there's romantic disappointment in the past that could influence the future. So I'm going to say to you that if you've had disappointment in the past, make sure you do the shadow work for that before you move forward, so that you have cleansed your energy to allow new things in. And there you go.
And Michael says, thank you so much. That really hit the spot. Greetings from Stockholm at dawn.
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you, Michael.
And we are a little over our hour. So thank you, everyone who joined us. It's been a great evening for us, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And please join us again next week for Tarot Thursday.
Yes, indeed.
Blessed be, everyone.